Danica Patrick has never been one to shy away from the spotlight, whether it's breaking barriers on the racetrack or turning heads off of it. In 2020, just after her split from NFL star Aaron Rodgers, Danica's bikini photos from a lake day had fans buzzing, but that was just the start. Fast forward to 2023 and 2024, and Danica's Instagram is filled with bold, revealing shots from her European getaways, complete with a massive back tattoo that shocked her followers. Once hailed as NASCAR's sex symbol, a title she casually shrugged off saying, "It just is what it is," Danica continues to blur the line between sports icon and cultural phenomenon. But what's the real story behind these headline-making photos? In August 2020, Danica Patrick grabbed everyone's attention, not for her racing skills, but for a series of striking photos she posted on Instagram. It had been just a few weeks since she and NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers broke up after 2 years of dating, but Danica didn't seem to be dwelling on the past. Instead, she was out at the lake, soaking up the sun with her friends, rocking a leopard print bikini that left little to the imagination. She looked confident, relaxed, and totally in control. Fans flooded her comments with support, rallying behind her. Some even poked fun at Rodgers, saying he'd made a big mistake letting her go. But for Danica, these photos weren't just about a breakup. They told a much bigger story, one that started long before her name was known in every household. Danica wasn't always the fearless, camera-ready star you saw on Instagram. Her journey started way back in Beloit, Wisconsin, where she was just a small-town girl with big dreams. Growing up, Danica wasn't like other kids. While most kids her age were riding bikes or playing sports, Danica was behind the wheel of a go-kart, zipping around tracks at just 10 years old. By the time she was 16, Danica had already made a decision that most people wouldn't dare to consider. She dropped out of high school midway through her junior year, with her parents' blessing, as long as she promised to get her GED. But Danica wasn't focused on school anymore. Her heart was on the racetrack, and nothing was going to slow her down. She packed her bags and moved to England all by herself. Think about that. Just a teenager, leaving everything she knew behind to chase her dreams across the world. Living in England wasn't easy. Danica moved to Milton Keynes, a town known for its racing culture, but breaking into the sport was tough. She raced in Formula Vauxhall and Formula Ford, two of the most competitive series for up-and-coming drivers. She faced plenty of challenges: poor quality cars, tough competition, and even rumors that she was living too extravagantly, which caused some of her sponsors like Ford to pull their support. But Danica didn't let that stop her. She convinced her dad to underwrite her career, showing just how determined she was to make it. During her 3 years in the UK, Danica raced hard. She finished 9th in the British Formula Vauxhall Championship in 1999 and came second in the 2000 Formula Ford Festival at Brands Hatch. That second-place finish was huge. It tied the best performance by an American at the event. She even got a chance to test a Formula 3 car with Carlin in 2001. Things were looking up, but just when it seemed like her career might take off, everything came crashing down. Her funding dried up, and a key opportunity with Jaguar Racing was canceled when the team's principal, Bobby Rahal, was fired. It was a major setback, but Danica wasn't new to facing obstacles. She packed up and returned to the U.S., ready to find another way to the top. Back in the States, Danica kept hustling. In 2002, she raced in the Toyota Pro Celebrity Race and beat out veteran driver Tommy Kendall to win the professional class. She also raced in the Barber Dodge Pro Series and the Toyota Atlantic Series, becoming the first woman since 1974 to compete in the latter. Her performance was impressive. She earned the first podium finish for a woman in the series and even led the championship standings at one point. She ended the 2004 season third in points, with 10 top 5 finishes in 12 races. By 2005, Danica had made it to the IndyCar series with Rahal Letterman Racing. It didn't take long for her to make headlines. She led laps at the Indianapolis 500 and secured multiple pole positions in her rookie season, becoming the second woman in IndyCar history to achieve that. She finished the season with 7 top 10 finishes and was named Rookie of the Year. Fans loved her and the media couldn't get enough of her. But Danica wasn't just about the attention, she was about the drive. And in 2008, that drive paid off. At the Indy Japan 300, Danica made history as the first woman to win an IndyCar race. It was a huge moment, not just for her, but for women in racing everywhere. But even with that win under her belt, Danica's career was full of ups and downs. She faced crashes, tough seasons, and constant scrutiny. But no matter what, she kept pushing forward, determined to prove she belonged in a sport dominated by men. In 2012, Danica made another bold move, switching from IndyCar to NASCAR. It was a risky transition, and plenty of people doubted her. But Danica wasn't afraid of a challenge. She became the first woman to win the pole position at the Daytona 500 and continued to break barriers in the sport. Off the track, Danica built an empire. She launched her Pretty Intense podcast, authored a book, and became a fitness icon. She wasn't just a race car driver anymore, she was a brand. Her relationship with Aaron Rodgers became tabloid fodder, but Danica never let it define her. So when those bikini photos hit Instagram in 2020, they were more than just a casual post-breakup flex. They were a statement. Danica was living her best life, unapologetically. She wasn't hiding from the world or dwelling on a relationship that didn't work out. She was out there, on the front of that boat, arms wide open, channeling her inner Kate Winslet from Titanic. And those photos? They weren't the end of the story, not even close. Because just when you thought Danica had shown it all, she had more surprises in store. Fast forward to 2023, and Danica's photos made headlines once again. But this time, things were different, way different. Danica was on an epic European vacation, and let's just say she wasn't shy about sharing it with the world. This wasn't just a weekend getaway. This was a full-blown adventure across some of the most beautiful places in Europe. And of course, she brought her fans along for the ride through her Instagram. The photos? They were stunning. Danica was rocking a tiny blue bikini, looking every bit as confident as she did back on that lake in 2020. But this time, she was sailing through the crystal-clear waters of Italy, surrounded by friends, laughter, and endless sunshine. In one of the photos, Danica lounged on the deck of a boat, her skin glowing under the Mediterranean sun. In another, she and her friends, all in equally bold swimwear, leapt off the boat into the water, their laughter almost audible through the images. It wasn't just the scenery that turned heads, it was Danica's effortless confidence. At 41, she looked happier and more at peace than ever. Fans couldn't get enough. The comments poured in. "Absolutely gorgeous, Danica. You're glowing." Who else zoomed in? Everyone was captivated, not just by how she looked, but by how she was living, free, fearless, and fully in the moment. But what really caught people's attention wasn't just the vacation vibes. It was how far Danica had come since stepping away from racing. After retiring from NASCAR in 2018, she didn't slow down. If anything, she shifted into a whole new gear. She launched her athleisure line, Warrior by Danica Patrick, showing off her passion for fitness and health. She even got into the wine business with her brand, Somnium, turning her love for Napa Valley into a full-fledged vineyard. And let's not forget her Pretty Intense podcast, where she dives deep into everything from wellness to personal growth. But even before this European adventure, Danica had already opened up about some deeply personal struggles. In 2022, she shared a throwback bikini photo on Instagram, but this one wasn't just for show. It came with a powerful message. Danica revealed that she had her breast implants removed due to health issues she believed were linked to them. She was honest about her regrets, admitting that she once thought implants would make her feel more perfect, more feminine. But now, she knew better. She told her fans that confidence doesn't come from changing your body. It comes from embracing who you are. That level of honesty hit home for a lot of people. Fans flooded her comments with gratitude, sharing their own stories and thanking her for being so real. Some even said she inspired them to make changes in their own lives. But let's be real. Danica's road wasn't always smooth. Her switch from IndyCar to NASCAR in 2012 came with plenty of bumps along the way. She had moments of triumph, like becoming the first woman to win the pole position at the Daytona 500, but there were also struggles. Crashes, tough seasons, and endless scrutiny from critics followed her throughout her stock car career. But Danica never let that stop her. Even when she wasn't standing on the podium, she was still making history, breaking barriers, and proving that she belonged in every race she entered. And when she decided to step away from full-time racing in 2017, it wasn't because she was giving up. It was because she was ready for something new. She raced in her final Daytona 500 in 2018, and even though her race ended early with a crash, it felt like the perfect bookend to a groundbreaking career. After that, she didn't fade into the background. She stepped into the spotlight in a whole new way. Now, in 2023, Danica was living her best life, and her European vacation was proof of that. And just when you thought Danica couldn't surprise you anymore, she did. Because those photos from 2023, they were just the beginning. The next year, in 2024, Danica dropped another set of jaw-dropping photos, but this time, there was something new. Something no one saw coming. A bold, massive back tattoo that had everyone talking. She was on another girl's trip, this time in Spain, and let's just say the internet wasn't ready for what she shared next. Danica, now 41, was soaking up the Spanish sun with her closest friends, and her Instagram exploded with envy-inducing shots from the trip. But it wasn't just the crystal-clear waters or the sleek speedboat that had people buzzing. It was Danica herself. In one photo, she stood at the edge of the boat wearing a sleek black bikini that perfectly highlighted her toned, tanned figure. But what really stole the spotlight was the enormous tattoo stretching across her back. It was bold, intricate, and impossible to miss. Fans were stunned. Was this the same Danica Patrick they'd followed for years on the racetrack? She captioned the photo with a playful "see," keeping things light and breezy. But the reactions were anything but casual. The comments section lit up. "Is that a new tattoo? Danica's back game is strong. All right, who else zoomed in?" Fans couldn't get enough of the new ink, and the buzz only grew as more photos from the trip surfaced. But while Danica was winning over hearts online, her public image was still a mixed bag. Throughout her career, she'd been both celebrated and criticized. Some saw her as a trailblazer, the woman who broke barriers in a male-dominated sport. Others dismissed her as a marketing tool, more famous for her looks than her racing stats. She'd heard it all: gimmick, publicity stunt, even comparisons to Anna Kournikova, the tennis player known more for her modeling than her match wins. But Danica never let the critics define her. She owned her image, embracing the attention while continuing to push boundaries in everything she did. Her influence extended far beyond the racetrack. She'd been on the cover of major magazines like Sports Illustrated and FHM, and was consistently ranked among the most beautiful and powerful women in sports. People magazine even named her one of the most beautiful people in the world in 2006. And while she once pushed back against being labeled a sex symbol, by 2017, she'd come to embrace it, saying it felt awesome to be recognized not just for her looks, but for the confidence and strength that came with it. Still, not everyone was a fan. Critics pointed to her lack of wins in NASCAR as proof that she was more style than substance. Others accused her of using her appearance to stay in the spotlight. But Danica didn't owe anyone an explanation. Her achievements spoke for themselves. She was the first woman to win an IndyCar race, the first to clinch the pole at the Daytona 500, and one of the most influential athletes in motorsports history. Whether people loved her or hated her, they couldn't ignore her. And in 2024, she proved that again. Just when fans were still reeling from her bold new tattoo, Danica showed up at Burning Man, turning even more heads. This wasn't your typical desert festival experience. Danica shared a series of photos from the event, showing off wild outfits, from a hot pink bikini paired with white boots to a feathery one-piece that screamed confidence. But it wasn't just her outfits that had people talking. For the first time since her split from entrepreneur Carter Comstock in 2022, Danica went public with a new mystery boyfriend. The photos showed her cozying up to him, sharing kisses under the desert sky. The caption? "In dust we trust." Fans went wild. Who was this new guy? How did they meet? Danica didn't spill the details, but it was clear she was happy, and that's all that mattered. Burning Man wasn't just about the wild outfits and epic parties for Danica. She spoke about the sense of community, the spirit of giving, and how the festival felt like an alternate reality where everyone just got along. But with Danica, you always knew there was more beneath the surface. She wasn't just about sun-soaked vacations and festival fun. There was a fire in her that hadn't dimmed. And in 2024, that fire would spark a whole new level of attention. Because just when you thought Danica was done making waves, she found herself at the center of a controversy no one saw coming. It all started when Danica took to her Instagram stories to speak out against something much bigger than racing or fitness. She called out a $60 billion agrochemical giant for allegedly poisoning the soil and harming citizens with dangerous weed killers. Her words were sharp and direct: greedy, evil people. It wasn't just a casual post, it was a full-on call to action. She shared posts from biohacker Dave Asprey, who accused the company, formerly Monsanto and now owned by Bayer, of destroying both the health of the people and the environment. Danica wasn't holding back. She even hinted at how fed up she was with the U.S. government's involvement, saying, "Say it louder for the greedy, evil people in the back, I mean government. Or is it Bill?" With a wink and shrug emoji. Her fans? They were split. Some cheered her on, thrilled to see her using her platform to push for accountability and transparency. Others were shocked by how outspoken she'd become. But Danica didn't care about the backlash. She cared about making a difference. She talked about how deeply she valued her health and even joked about wanting to move to Europe because of how serious she was about avoiding harmful chemicals. And just when people were still digesting Danica's fiery stance on the environment, she stirred the pot again, this time in the racing world. Danica, the woman who broke barriers as the first female IndyCar winner, made headlines with her controversial comments about women in motorsport. In an interview, she suggested that women shouldn't be given special paths to Formula One. She believed the sport should be based purely on skill and performance, not gender. It sounded fair, right? But then she took it further. During a Sky F1 Juniors broadcast, she made remarks that many fans found disappointing. When asked if women could succeed in Formula One, she said the sport's aggressive nature wasn't normal in a feminine mind. That one line sent shockwaves through the motorsport community. Fans who had once looked up to her as a trailblazer now criticized her for reinforcing stereotypes. People questioned how someone who had broken so many barriers could turn around and discourage young girls from believing they belonged on the track. The backlash was swift. Social media lit up with disappointed fans calling her out. Many felt she missed an opportunity to inspire the next generation of female racers. But Danica, as always, stood by her words. She believed in tough love. She believed that if you were good enough, you'd prove it on the track, no matter who you were. But the controversies didn't stop there. Later that year, Danica faced even more criticism when she attended a Turning Point USA event, a conservative political gathering. She posted photos with her sister, smiling alongside hats supporting former President Donald Trump, and even posing with bottles labeled "Woke Tears Water." Fans who followed her for years were shocked. The comments poured in. "I had no idea you were like that. That's disappointing." "Wow, this is super disappointing. I thought this was satire at first." Some people even said they were unfollowing her. But if you thought Danica was going to apologize, think again. She didn't address the backlash at all. Instead, she kept her focus on her family, posting holiday photos and sharing more personal content as if nothing had happened. To Danica, staying true to herself mattered more than keeping everyone happy. Throughout her career, whether on the track, online, or in the media, Danica Patrick has never been afraid to stir things up. She's been praised, criticized, loved, and hated. But no matter what, She's always stayed unapologetically herself. From her racing triumphs to her bold opinions on everything from environmental issues to gender roles in sports, Danica has proven one thing over and over again: she's not here to fit into anyone's box. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Danica Patrick's ever-evolving journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Got thoughts on her latest controversies? Drop a comment below. We want to hear what you think. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.